The following segment is sponsored by KKennedy Designs.
I'm here in Suffolk at the studio of KKennedy, and we're here to learn about the life of a jewelry maker and how to make some beautiful pieces along the way. So Christine, can you give us a little bit about yourself?
When I was a kid, I was, going to Broadway shows and the Met and everything like that, exposed to art young, and my mom saw a propensity. I did some drawing and sketching, and my mom was always like, you love doing this, I can't get you to stop drawing horses, let's encourage this. When I went to NYU, I was talking to the director of photography, I was setting up a shot for him, and he said, you need to be an art director. And I eventually went to graduate school and took art direction classes, and so I started working in film. And one of the very first feature films I ever worked on was The New World, which shot here in Virginia. And we were in this amazing building in 2005, where down one hallway there was people making headdresses for the Powhatan tribe, and these incredible capes with like iridescent bird feathers. I was so inspired by the bone and the sinew and the colors that I was seeing around me that I started stringing beads and making jewelry and adding feathers and all of the inspiration from the piece and the colors I was seeing. I'd stay in film and make a living from film, but I started exploring all of these different mediums in jewelry.
So what do you enjoy best about jewelry making?
I like finding the materials, trying different things to try to tell the best version of a story that I want to tell. So I say that I make the piece and I start out with the story. But when I give it to you or you buy it from me in the booth, it becomes your piece and a continuation of the story. I have developed tremendous relationships. I've had customers become very dear friends and have become collaborators. I'm very lucky with that. But I also end up in these very intimate moments of people's lives. There was one time when there were two women who were very, very quiet in my booth. And they had sunglasses on and they were touching things and they were murmuring to each other, and I didn't know what was going on. And I finally said, is there any way I can help you? And they told me that their mother was dying and that they were buying the very last piece of jewelry that they would ever buy for her. And I spent 20 minutes with these people buying that piece. So you end up in these moments.
That was a very moving, touching piece for me because it does play a very, very intimate role.
Yes, and you don't think about those kinds of things, like the watch that you wear, the rings that you put on, and what they symbolize.
So where do you find your design inspiration, and how would you describe your own personal style?
I am very inspired by nature. Somebody told me that one of their art instructors told them a long time ago that God never gets it wrong, as in, if you look at a flower, complementary colors, tertiary colors, sunsets, all of that is the perfect color combination, is the perfect way to put things together. I moved to Savannah and Tybee, and the beach there is beautiful and pristine. There's like turtle nesting sites and dunes and sea oats, and I wanted to capture that. I wanted to capture the sights and the sounds and the smells, and how do you take that and interpret it into, how do you, interpret a flying bird or a moving wave into a still piece of jewelry? So I spent a lot of time developing that line. And that is still my most popular line, but now I'm doing Milk and Honey, which is inspired by our bees and our pollinators. I'm doing Monet's Garden. It's very the natural world, but reinterpreted.
You make jewelry for men and women, so can you tell us a little bit about your his and her collection?
Sure. I actually made the piece that my husband wore to our wedding, and he's had a bunch of guys come up to him and say, where did you get that piece? I mean, when do they do that? So it's actually this piece right here, and what's special about it is surfboard resin. So all of those layers of color are built up over time by people that glass surfboards, and it ends up basically as discarded material on the floor of their workshop. It's all repurposed and reused, and no two are exactly alike. You'll see all the different fun shapes and colors that you can do. So I could make two pendants, but make them slightly differently. So one could be more masculine and one could be more feminine.
If somebody wanted to start jewelry making, what are some basic tools that they would need to start out with?
So I say get good pliers. Get the best pliers that you can get. You want to get flat pliers. They don't have any teeth in them because you don't want to mar your metal or mar any of your... You want to get a nice pair of round nose pliers. These are crimp pliers.
Okay.
And these are flush cut pliers. And you want to feel it in your hand. You want to see if you like the spring, because when you're sitting there for 2 hours, you want the tool to help you.
Yes, yes. So listen, I've been having my eye on these pieces here.
Oh, thank you.
So can you tell, these are lovely, by the way.
They sparkle.
Can you, they do sparkle. Can you tell us what went into making these?
Oh, sure. It's actually resin. So what I like about resin is it's really lightweight. So you can wear these big chunky pieces and they feel like nothing. I went to a gem and bead show and I bought a crystal. It was an absolutely beautiful crystal, but they only had 1 or 2 of them in that color and in that shape. I went and said, I'm going to buy these, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a mold. You can get a Michael's, Hobby Lobby, any of the craft supply stores, order it on Amazon. You can get a 2-part silicone mold making kit. And you blend the 2 together. You just have to make sure that the 2 parts are exactly even. Blend it together and you have 5-10 minutes to be able to work with it and press whatever you want into the mold. Because then you can make 20 crystals out of 1 bottle of resin instead of buying $20 crystals and only being able to use them once.
So can you tell us what it's like to live the life of a jewelry maker?
First thing I do in the morning is go and check all the work from the night before. You know, see how everything cured, see what I have to fix, peel tape off of things, check the paint, see what happened. You know, kind of like check on my babies.
Yeah, right.
And then decide what the workflow for the day is. Because I've been doing it long enough that I have lines and I have production pieces and I have show deadlines, I have galleries I have to fulfill. There's no downtime. You sit and answer emails, check Instagram, see if you sold anything on Etsy, check Facebook, go through your photographs and do your post for the day. And then I get to go and have fun and put the pieces together, see what's working. You have to keep in mind, it is a business, and there is a business side to it.
So speak to somebody that was like you, just wanted to start out, just jump into it, and probably don't know much about the business side of
Sure.
things.
From the creative side, what I would say is, be true to your voice. Like, don't worry about what other people are doing, what trends are, what the Pantone color of the year is. You need to figure out what you're making, what you want to say, who your customer is. The truer you are to what you make and what your voice is, the better the response will be from the public, because they will see you or possibly a reflection of themselves in your piece, and you will speak to them. And then from the business side of it, don't be afraid to look for mentors and ask questions.
So where can people go to find out more information?
I am very active on Instagram and Facebook. I'm also doing Portsmouth Seawall. I do Stockley Gardens. I do Neptune Festival. I'm also in a couple of galleries like Nancy Thomas Gallery on Colley Street.
All right, well, Christine, it was so nice meeting you
It was
today.
lovely meeting you too.